Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to the latest episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. First of all, a big thank you to each and every one of you who took part in the record cleaning live stream. We've enjoyed it tremendously. And also finally, we found a date to have our latest soul stream. It's on August the 19th and it will be all about Southern Soul. We can hardly wait for it. This week we are featuring a group which had an evergreen hit, and this song is featured on almost every 70s compilation album you can think of. This week we are featuring the group New York City. Triborough Exchange, aka New York City, was founded in the early 70s. Triborough Exchange means in slang nothing. So it wasn't quite a miracle that they changed after their first single release. They changed the name. So their first single release as Triborough Exchange was on Buddha in 1971 with the single 7 Lonely Nights and on the B-side Little Old Me. So after the rebrand, which was then New York City, they also changed labels and went to Chelsea, where they recorded a song which became a worldwide smash, an absolutely hit single, which I think many groups suffer for. But it happened, and the song was called I'm Doing Fine Now. You find the song on almost every 70s compilation you can think of. It was so tremendously successful. And in 1973, on the waves of riding and cashing in of the hit I'm Doing Fine, they released their album I'm Doing Fine. And if you see the back where you have the picture from the front put up here in the window, nice idea, you have a little article about the group and all of this little informative thing. So yeah, that's the cover art, a typical 70s cover. I love the front of this cover, but I would say that you get a better impression. Let's have a listen. And Tom Bell did a tremendously good job on this album and also on the follow-up album. This follow-up album was called Soulful Root, and if you look at the cover art, if it looks familiar, yes, of course, the Beatles' Abbey Road cover used a million of times on other cover arts as well. What happened to New York City? Well, they released this album with a million-seller single hit. They released a couple of more singles also from the follow-up album in 1974, but they never could live up to the success of I'm Doing Fine Now. By late 1974, the group disbanded. Why it happened, I have no clue. There's absolutely no information about it, because in my opinion, there were groups out there who were not having half as the success of New York City, but they stayed together for way longer and recorded also way more songs. So if you have additional information of why the group disbanded, please let me know in the comments below. In 1976, Chelsea released a best of, and that was pretty much it. So further information on the group. Well, who was actually part of the group? Let's get into this. So we have Tim McQueen, who was the lead singer. We have John Brown, who also sang on the 5 Cents, the Cadillacs, the Moonglows, on who's also the brother of Estelle Brown, who was and still is a member of the Sweet Inspirations. And we have Claude Johnson, who sadly passed away in 2017, and Eddie Shell. One thing I would like to point out, in 1973 the group made a tour, and the band who backed them up were the Big Apple Group, Big Apple Band. And 2 members of this band were Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards. These names sound familiar to you? Yes, they became members of Chic. So for Chic, the rest is history. What else is there to say? Well, John Brown, after the band disbanded, he continued to do some solo work afterwards, but he also couldn't live up to the success he had with the group. If you're asking me for a recommendation of New York City, I would say go for their debut album. You can easily find this in a good shape between 10 to 20 euros, always depending on the condition. I'm going to show you the record. I kept the price tag. I bought it for 10 euros about in 2016, and yeah, this is very fancy Chelsea label, the A side. This is the B side, and yeah, up to a scratch on the last track. This looks like a very clean copy, so I didn't pay too much. Usually when I look back at records I bought when I started collecting 2 decades ago, I sometimes look at them and say, oh my god, if somebody would have told me to look at certain things, I wouldn't have bought these, but I can't part with them, so they will stay with me. So, little episode this week, New York City. Unfortunately, there is no further information available of this group, and I wished I could have gone a little deeper into that group, why, how, and when. But well, this happens. Anyway, it's a great album. These groups recorded some tremendously good music. So stay safe, stay healthy, listen to good music, maybe, and I'll pick it up once again. It's a typical, I love the cover, love the font. Yeah, listen to New York City, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.